Deep levels of corruption exist within the financial and political sectors. We have seen this becoming particularly evident since the financial crisis. So today I want to discuss this. Companies are reporting phony numbers. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. I want to get into this information today. I also want to connect it in with a few other points. Let's begin with this here. We're looking at the NSA, and this has been big in the news. NSA winds down the once secret phone records collection program. So we all heard this happening in the news recently. The NSA began winding down a collection of storage of American phone records after the Senate failed to agree on a path forward. So what they had said here was that they have been collecting data on American citizens, on the whole world in fact, and all of a sudden they're going to stop doing so because they couldn't agree within the Senate. If you believe this, then I have some oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you. Arizona Bay Real Estate, this joke here from Bill Hicks, and essentially what we're looking at is nothing but a huge lie. This is the kind of thing that I see consistently reporting within the mainstream media and from the politicians that are, quite frankly, not telling the truth. Let's go look at this here. Janet Yellen. We all know Janet Yellen for basically being the mouthpiece for the Federal Reserve. Yellen has basically said to the Financial Services Committee that she can't provide some of the documents sought by his subpoena because doing so would jeopardize a criminal investigation by the Justice Department. The Federal Reserve is mindful that we must not impede on the open criminal investigation. How many times have we seen this taking place where you have some sort of important information that needs to be released, whether it's one of these financial organizations that are part of the government or not part of the government, and you see this where they say, well, we can't do this, it's national security, or we can't give you that data because it will impede this criminal investigation. These are all lies that they tell us, and it is in order to basically support their friends who are involved in this. In my book, I talked about this, quoting Alan Greenspan, saying that the Federal Reserve is an independent agency. There is no other agency of the government which can overrule actions that we take. He said this many years ago, but the fact remains is that this still goes on today. Nothing they do is transparent. The only time there was a slight amount of transparency, we found out that they printed $16 trillion and not a single person got a slap on the wrist. We don't even know where that money is. Still today, they don't know where everything has gone. It was just a partial audit that was done. So what exactly are they doing? What about all the other financial companies, the JP Morgans, the Goldman Sachs? What are they up to? So that leads me into my next point here. Those record profits that companies are reporting may not be all they're cracked up to be. This is out of the AP, and they did some investigation. As the stock market climbs higher than ever, professional investors are warning that companies are presenting misleading versions of their results that ignore a wide variety of normal costs of running business to make it seem like they're doing better than they really are. Oh, they're fudging the numbers. Well, this isn't the first time they've done this. You can read Infectious Greed by Frank Partnoy to tell you exactly how they've been doing this for so long. The third paragraph here, what's worse, the financial analysts who are supposed to fight corporate spin are often playing along. Instead of challenging the companies, they're largely passing along the rosy numbers in reports recommending stocks to investors. What happened with the AAA investments during the financial crisis? We saw that subprime mortgage debt was rated at AAA oftentimes, all of the worst debt. AAA. Why? Because the friends are helping out the friends. That's the way this works. You have the regulators who are supposed to be there to protect us are really just alumni of the corporations that they're fighting for. Companies are tilting the results and analysts are buying it. Well, it's not so simple as that because there is more going on here. This is a completely corrupt system. So I want to move on to this here out of CNS. Social Security overpaid nearly half of the people getting disability. In every single category, we have wrongdoing, whether it's intentional or whether it is being done and some sort of mismanagement. Social Security overpaid half the people receiving disability over the last decade, according to this government watchdog, raising questions about the management about the cash-strapped program. It isn't redlining. It is in fact completely broke. You're looking at Social Security, Medicare, and all the other programs basically that they have. Over 100 million people are on some sort of food assistance program, something that I've brought up many times before. Social Security paid nearly $17 billion, more than they should have. And this really goes to show you that it's not a small problem, it's a huge problem that is taking place. Now, whether this is negligence, whether this is caused by some sort of fault in the system, well, there are many different reasons, but the fact remains is that they're doing this, and this isn't the only time that this has happened. This is going on every single year. I want to shift gears before we finish off this video today, looking over at the RT. Germany allegedly sent arms to Saudi Arabia in return for the Arab nation, giving its support to Germany's successful bid to host the 2006 World Cup. We don't know 100% if this is true, but it wouldn't surprise me in the least. This was done to try and secure the support of Saudi Arabia to vote for Germany, as the oil-rich nation had been planning to vote for Morocco, while South Africa were the hot favorites to win the overall vote to bring the World Cup to Africa for the first time. This kind of corruption goes on in every different sector, and it doesn't seem to be giving up anytime soon. See, even when something like this happens, yes, they may fire one individual, they might have to burn somebody, but the people at the very top are never the ones to have to take the fall. That's the way this works. So this one instance here is just such a small part in comparison to every single thing that they're doing. This is just one little thing. Let's move on to this here, where we see Russia and Egypt holding their first ever joint naval exercise. Russia's defense minister said that the strengthening the ties between the two states, which were once Cold War allies. This is out of Reuters, and you can read the details for yourself. I just wanted to note a couple points. One of them being that the goal of the exercise is to strengthen and develop the military cooperation between Egypt's navy and Russia's navy in the interest of security and stability on the sea. Factions have formed. We could see the US essentially overtaking in some sort of empirical rule, but then we see Russia and China partnering up what seems to be in a more civil format as they go ahead, and whether it's on an economic level or whether this is militarily here, there seem to be partnering up with different countries around the world, and they're doing so very, very strategically. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. I truly appreciate that very much. I have been working on the website. And remember that this is a one-man show. So if you haven't seen too many videos from me in the recent past, some days I can't get to them. It is because I am working on the website trying to clean that all up, because at some point in the near future, I will be able to give you one video every single day, day in, day out. No problem with that at all. But I'm still definitely regularly updating as much as I possibly can. Just note that every single day, there is some work being done at the Money GPS. Last but not least, if you found this video informative, I know that you will find my book, The Money GPS, even more informative. And you can actually look through the book. If you go to Amazon, they have a look inside feature, which allows you to flip through the book and see if you like it for yourself. Take care.